Hi there, welcome to InfoHub. It's Monday, October 8th. Here's what's making the news. President David Granger today said the Guyana Teachers Union, GTU, and the government are now closer to a resolution. The president was speaking at a meeting he convened with executive members of the union and Minister of Education, Nicolette Henry. Here is Stacey Carmichael with our first report.
President Granger said that the two sides have found common ground and are working towards a favorable outcome. It is expected, he said, that a formal announcement will be made by Friday. The two sides have agreed to another meeting on Wednesday, October 10. The president said the intention is to create a basis for an agreement as early as possible. He noted the importance of the government working with the teachers' union to complete this process, since it is aware that the teachers have expectations.
We, of course, expect that the teachers' union would consult with the members, and the teachers' union expects that the government side will consult with the Ministry of Finance. So we have reached a broad area in which there is, I would say we have reached common ground. I don't want to call it agreement, but we've reached common ground, and I think the people of Guyana could look forward to an amicable resolution.
The head of state assured that the government is concerned and is working to address issues raised. The meeting was attended on the government side by Minister of Education Nicolette Henry, Chief Education Officer Marcel Hudson, Acting Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education Adele Clark, and Human Resources Manager, Ministry of Education Jacqueline Simon. The GTU was represented by President Mark Light, General Secretary Coretta MacDonald, and other executives. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Minister of State Joseph Harmon earlier today met with U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis on the margins of the 13th Conference of Defense Ministers of the Americas in Cancun, Mexico. The conference is an international multilateral political forum directed and integrated by the defense ministers of the Americas with authorization from the governments of their respective countries. It promotes mutual knowledge and exchange of ideas at a minister's level in the scope of hemispheric defense and security. It was created in 1995 with the objective of establishing a forum for debate and exchange of experiences among the ministers of defense of the Americas. We will provide details in a subsequent newscast. 97 persons, including 49 women, were conferred with national awards by President David Granger at this year's investiture ceremony hosted last Saturday. Stacey joins us again with the details.
President Granger emphasized the nation's obligation to pay homage to those distinguished men and women who, through precept and example, have provided outstanding service to their communities.
National awards should never again be disregarded, disparaged, or debased through capricious conferment. Today's investiture ceremony is a public manifestation of appreciation for those who have rendered exemplary service to the nation. National awards are conferred to express the esteem in which the recipients are held by a grateful nation.
The president described the National Honor System as a supreme symbol of statehood reserved for those persons who have distinguished themselves in service to the nation.
The National Honor System, on which national awards are conferred, is not a ceremonial or cosmetic ritual, as some seem to think. It is an essential cultural convention in civilized society, used to express appreciation to those who serve selflessly. The National Honor System is part of our culture.
We caught up with some of the awardees.
Well, it's a proud moment, obviously, to be bestowed with this award, the National Award. And it's an award that, wants any youngster who has a dream, he can follow that dream. I'm a person who obviously had a dream. I did pursue my dream, and here I am today as Commissioner of Police.
Yes, I felt very happy to have received this award. I felt like I'm kind of short on where I actually wanted to be, but I'm happy to be here, and I thank God for this.
I'm very happy about this occasion. I'm glad that Guyana has recognized my efforts, my contributions, and I'm really grateful and thankful for all those who nominated me.
I'm humble and grateful for accepting this award. It's a very cool gesture, and for the future, I hope that my other colleagues will be able to follow in my footsteps.
Well, I feel very honored. It's always good to be recognized by your country for whatever little you have done. I will not say I've done a whole lot. I think I've done enough though. And I feel great about it. I'm very thankful.
I would want to encourage everyone to work, work, work. And one day, someone is going to recognize you the way I did. So I'm humble and elated.
For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu said Ghana will forever remember the shock and horror of the Guyana air tragedy and will continue to collectively share the grief and loss of lives. He was speaking at a wreath-laying ceremony at the weekend. Delicia Haynes filed that report.
The Prime Minister was at the wreath-laying ceremony for the victims on Saturday at the University of Guyana's Turkine campus. He noted that the vicious act of terrorism was a studied policy that punished small states, including Guyana, for pursuing an independent path of development.
Today, we remember our glorious martyrs with fresh anguish in our hearts. We must always remember them and why they became victims, so as not to surrender to bullyism over our sovereignty and unimpeded access to our national resources.
Cuban Ambassador Narciso Ronaldo Amador Socorro highlighted that in Cuba, October 6 has been adopted as the Day of Victims of State Terrorism. This is in remembrance of the more than 3,000 Cubans who lost their lives as a result of terrorist attacks.
The best tribute we must pay to our brothers and sisters who were victims of one of the most horrendous crimes in the history of the world is to continue working hard and doing our best every day for strengthening the relationship between our people who are based on mutual confidence, respect, friendship, solidarity, and cooperation.
On October 6, 1976, 42 years ago, Cuban DC-8 passenger aircraft flight number CU-455 left Guyana for Trinidad, then on to Sewell International Airport in Barbados. From Barbados, the plane was scheduled to fly to Jamaica and then to its final destination in Havana, Cuba. Minutes after taking off from Barbados, a bomb located in the aircraft's rear lavatories exploded. All 73 passengers and crew on board perished. Among them were 57 Cubans, 5 Koreans, and 11 Guyanese, of whom 6 were students going to Cuba to study medicine and engineering. The Guyanese students on board were students Seshnarain Kumar, Ann Nelson, Eric Norton, Raul Thomas, and Jacqueline Williams, with relatives Margaret Bradshaw, Gordon M. Suba, Rita Thomas, Violet Thomas, Raymond Passad, and Sabrina Harry Paul, who was 9 years old. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
Exercise gives you more than just a great body. Some benefits you can't see, but you can feel. Cardio increases your heart rate and improves circulation. 60 minutes is good for heart health and 30 minutes for overall health. It helps boost your immune system, eases your mind, and rejuvenates your body. Now let's talk muscle. The more muscle mass you have, the more fat your body burns while resting. A pound of muscle burns 3 times more calories than a pound of fat. So having more muscle means you can consume more calories. Exercise can improve the look of your skin, boosts your self-confidence, and helps you sleep better so you can wake up and do it all over again. 30 consecutive minutes per day, 5 days a week. Start now. Eat well, keep moving. A message from the Chronic Disease Unit of the Ministry of Public Health.
Welcome back. The government of Ghana is extending condolences to the government and people of the Republic of Haiti, where a magnitude 5.9 earthquake hit on Saturday, claiming the lives of some 12 persons and injuring almost 200. A release from the Ministry of the Presidency says Ghana sympathizes with the families of the victims and all affected and wish those hospitalized a speedy recovery. Further, Ghana pledges its unwavering support to His Excellency Jovenel Moïse, President of the Republic of Haiti, and his administration as the country moves to overcome this tragedy. Residents of 12 villages in the Kayuni-Mazaruni region were on Friday issued their firearms and licenses by Minister of Public Security Kermaj Ramjatan and Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Alicock. More from Paul McAdam.
Back in 2015, residents had turned in their unlicensed firearms during the Ministry of Public Security's amnesty program. The plan was to regularize the system to allow for weapons checks and the licensing of firearms holders. On October 5, residents of Keiko, Waramadong, Jawala, Philippi, Camarang, Warwater, Parima, Wax Creek, Chinawing, Mbaimadai, and Wailing gathered at the Camarang Sports Complex to collect their returned weapons. Among those was Celia James of Philippi.
Very happy to get my firearm to protect my families and my communities and my village.
Describing the distribution as historical, Minister Ramjatan noted that never before has any government made so many licenses available to indigenous communities. It was the first time, too, that as minister he signed off on 130 licenses at once.
I have never done this before. 130 approvals one time. It's an amazing thing. Yet another accomplishment to ensure our indigenous communities get what they deserve. And whatever else that must come your way because you so deserve it, definitely will come your way through this coalition government.
Minister Ramjatan will be working with the Police Commissioner, Leslie James, to have an ammunition safe house established in the Upper Mazaruni area.
The lobby has also started that we have to have, within areas like Camarang, safe houses that can keep the ammunition so that when you want more ammunition, 12-gauge rounds or 20-gauge rounds, that you could easily get it rather than having to go to Georgetown to buy it.
The newly licensed firearm holders were also supplied with 100 rounds of ammunition. They were encouraged to use the firearms for the sole purpose of taking care of their families and their farms. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
The Finance Ministry is going through evolutionary changes, placing it on the path to becoming one of the finest, says Minister Winston Jordan. More in this report.
The Finance Minister is confident the changes made since he began his tenure will result in the ministry becoming one of the best performing. Minister Jordan has worked in the Finance Ministry in various capacities since 1985.
When I came to this ministry in 1985, it was broken, beaten. You didn't have virtually no professional staff and so on. And today, where this ministry at, when I see some of the applications that people are submitting, unsolicited applications, people from different universities, and I tell them, listen, we can't pay you salary. No, we'll work for. When I see the interest that here, I say finally, this important ministry has an opportunity to recruit staff of the caliber and with the right training and grooming and so on, will make this ministry into one of the finest.
He said the ministry has completed several notable firsts over the last 3 years.
We have produced 2 budgets. One time we produced 2 budgets in 1 year. We have produced 2 budgets so far before the year start. It's no mean feat. It's no mean feat. We have produced a public debt report without a requirement of Parliament. We've consistently produced half-year reports before the Parliament goes into recess, even though the law says the 28th of August.
The minister noted that ministry staffers worked hard to complete the half-year financial report before the parliamentary recess, due to it being a tool for stakeholders to deal with moving forward. He cited the public-private partnership framework and the Green Paper on Sustainable Development, all produced by a small cadre of highly dedicated and qualified persons.
You check our website. It's chock-full with information the likes of which you have not seen before. We produce weekly bulletins, economic bulletins. We produce monthly economic bulletins. All of these are new inventions. They're new. They require a lot of work, but we do it.
Minister Jordan described himself as being driven and explained that the Finance Ministry was no place for sluggards, the undisciplined, or those who were not team players. He emphasized that it was not about him, but rather about the needs of stakeholders dependent on the ministry's services and being able to meet their expectations consistently. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Maintain a healthy weight and be physically active to reduce your chances of developing cancer. That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp, social media, and our website at dpi.gov.gy. We leave you now with your bridge and weather reports. Goodbye.